Just say business is down 8.5% year over year, and that's a good thing, right? And you're like, why is that a good thing? So football season is right around the corner, and that's where today's video sponsor DraftKings has you covered with a special offer. Best Ball lets DraftKings players score big all season long. Teams are assembled through standard fantasy draft models, and then the roster is used for the entire season. This means there's no roster management to worry about. There's no crossover between teams like you would typically find in DFS contests. And prizes are paid out at the end of the season. To start playing Best Ball, download the DraftKings app, sign up using code SUPERSPEEDERS, enter DraftKings Best Ball $10 million contest, and draft your team for the season. Each week, you'll automatically rack up points from all your top scorers. No ads, drops, trades, or I should have played him insteads. You'll be able to enjoy the fantasy football action without the need to manage your team. The team with the most points at the end of the season will take home the $1 million top prize. So what are you waiting for? Head to the DraftKings app now and use code SUPERSPEEDERS to start playing Best Ball today. Only at DraftKings using code SUPERSPEEDERS. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and behind me you see a warehouse full of cars. Now, it's a Thursday in July, towards the end of July, which is generally the busiest time of year. Now, with my business in the Northeast, we do probably 60% of our revenue in like June, July, and August. So it only makes sense that I generally don't have all these cars available. Now, two cars that are notably missing are my Ferrari 488 Spider and then the Z06. The Z06 has been down since July 4th. At the dealership, so we're waiting on that to be coming back. Who knows when that's going to be done? At least another 10 or 12 days. And then we have the 488 Spider, which was in an accident in the end of June, and Hertz is just dragging ass, right? It was hit by a woman driving a Hertz rental car. That's another story for another video. We'll see how that plays out, but they haven't even had an adjuster come out. A company that does this for a living hasn't even gotten an adjuster to come out and look at the car yet, so that thing is just sitting, waiting, and going to turn into another, obviously, ugly lawsuit for loss of use when somebody's dragging ass and it's costing me a lot of money. However, I also have these cars, and these cars are behind me when there are generally fewer cars than this behind me. Call volume is down, the rental leads tend to be down this year, and business is down. It was down 8% Q1, and now that we're coming at the end of June, it's down so far 9% in Q2, or it's the other way around, 9%, 8%, whatever it is. Just say business is down 8.5% year over year, and that's a good thing, right? And you're like, why is that a good thing? Because I've been doing this for so long, right? When the market's good, like everybody can rent cars. When the market's bad, the people with businesses that don't belong in business all go out of business. And that's what I'm excited for, is that there are, unless you're blind or pitching crypto to people, there are all the signs that the economy is slowing down and we're going into a recession. I guarantee if you want to short stocks on high-end retail stuff, it's going to go down. You have the housing market now. There used to be lines and people fighting over properties. Guess what? Mortgage rates are high. People aren't buying properties anymore. Businesses across the board are getting slower. Whether you want to believe it or not, you have to adapt and respond to that. Now, the repossession rates are through the roof with the banks. They're repossessing cars like it's going out of business. And these fragile rental companies are going to start renting cars for virtually nothing. I don't play in the mud, so they're going to give it away just because they know it's going to be pulled from them anyway. There's a guy I know who over-leveraged, followed the TikTok trends of like, oh, I'm going to go buy 20 cars in a day. Guess what? Not doing good. And I promise you, he's looking at the big B, the big old bankruptcy, and that's no fun, right? So it's going to happen. You have to be prepared for the ups and downs. You have to have a sound business model so you can do that and you can weather the storms. I'll be fine whether I'm down 10% this year, which is a lot of money. Like 10% is significant, but you have to lower your costs as well, and you have to maintain profitability if you can, or maybe you have a year or two where you lose money. But the fact that when you come back out of that and all these guys go out of business and I have less competition at that point in time is an excellent thing. Does that mean people are not going to get into renting cars? No. As the economy picks up, more new people are going to pop in to rent cars. But there's a reason I've been around for 20 years doing this, and there's a reason a lot of the cars are sitting behind me. Now, we had this in 2008, 9. That was a big dip. We flatlined. Like we were growing like this, we did this. That's what I'm expecting. I'm also comparing my numbers to year over year, which last year was up like 30% year over year. So do I have more cars this year than last year? Yes. Is my revenue down from last year? But it's probably equivalent to the year prior. So all of these things are to be factored in, but I see a slowdown in the market. I don't know if you guys do. I'm not a market guru, right? Like I can't tell you the economy is going to go, sell your stocks, do this, do that. But from all the real world indicators I see, the fact that Rolexes are down 30% this year, what's the first thing that happens when everyone gets this free government money or the economy's good? Everyone's buying stuff, right? You're getting your Gucci belt, you're getting your Rolex, you're getting your Lambos or your PPP money, and now your operating expenses are higher. You've blown the cash that you've had, and even all these guys that took out these big EIDL loans, you may have an extra $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month in overhead. If you take $3 million in EIDL loans, guess what? You got to pay back 20 grand a month. Where's that money now? You've added another $20,000 in overhead for the next 20 years or 30 years, however long they amortize those out for. So it's not all fun and games when it comes to renting cars, but I noticed a huge slowdown this year, and just to the point where I know, like, we're still getting big rentals. I think that offsets that stuff, but I noticed a significant slowdown volume-wise with the fact that we used to get, today I'd probably get 25 calls. Oh, what do you got for the weekend? What do you got this? What do you got next weekend? And the pre-bookings are always sparse, right? We don't really book out further than 2 weeks, but I've got a lot of availability. So if you want a car, now's the time. It's not going to be a super deal, but it'll be a good car. And if you're a last-minute guy waiting for good weather, now's the time to come knocking on my door and saying, hey, I would like to drive your Aston Martin on a nice sunny day tomorrow. Is it available? And there's a good chance that it may be. So stay tuned. Downturn in the market. I'm calling it. You'll see it across the board. All the other big indicators are there. If you want to be blind to it, sure. But like even the Urus market, the car market's going down. Everything is going down, and you can't expect business to always like follow the positive guy on the internet who says, double down. Remember the guys with the crypto? They were like, hold the line. Those guys are probably the first guys to sell out, and they're telling you to hold the line to keep their prices up while they're selling it off. But holding the line may leave you holding your ankles, if that makes sense. Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens, but I see it. If you guys see it, post it in the comments. I'm curious to see what your observations are, but fair warning, just something to be on top of, something to be aware of. Thanks for watching. See you next time.